Are you winning, son?
I think what I'm gonna do now, you know, I said I was gonna do Dino Domain. I was gonna probably do Dino Domain Silver Coins next. I think we're just gonna go right into the next little area. So this is the beach world. Now, I have a very fond memory of this level having easy levels and also easy silver coins, but the boss is one of the most difficult things. Like, I remember the boss, especially the post-silver coins version of this boss, you know, the second rendition of the boss, the sequel, the electric boogaloo of this boss. I was a lot of Let's Players that I watched were miserable fighting this boss. Obviously, earlier in this recording, I talked about, like, you know, Durden777, who, you know, was the really old school YouTuber who played this game back in, like, 2009, 2010. I just have really fond memories of him really struggling with the second rendition of this boss. And if you even just look at the boss, which obviously you'll see him with time, he just looks like the epitome of I don't like, he looks like a grumpy animal. I say animal like I'm just gonna keep it a secret as to what the boss's animal is. Guys, it's an octopus. He's a grumpy octopus who just, he doesn't want to talk. He's kind of got that radiating energy of just don't talk me, I angy. And yeah, well, his the difficulty of his second rendition of the boss really I guess you could say lives up to that name. It really does live up to it. Let's do it. Okay. Oh man. So what do we got next? We have Crescent Island. So I do have something that I can also say for this one. See, there's a lot of things I could say about every level that I just really enjoy. This level I really remember specifically for its what is it? I don't know why, but I really remember this version specifically for its DS counterpart, because if you guys may or may not be aware, this game got a DS port, which I thought was great. It wasn't even really, it kind of made it its own thing. Obviously there was, it had all the same tracks that the original had, but it also had an entire new set of tracks, like a world, like a world's handful. You know, like obviously, like you have the ocean bit. It had an entire new world. It's just, in terms of the actual story, that world wasn't there. It was just more or less, hey, you get like this weird, like, you had to get these weird, like, silver coin alternative. They were like rare coins, I think. You had to get like these rare coins, and if you got enough, you could get the Diddy Kong Racing DS exclusive tracks, and I thought that was a really interesting concept, quite honestly. And to be honest, they were kind of just very much themed after Dino Domain's tracks. They were kind of like a Dino Domain alternative, but they were like, it was like a mixture between Dino Domain and this like water world. I don't actually remember the name of this world either. TT literally says it when you enter the world, and I didn't even hear it. But yeah, I don't really know why this track I just remember having really fond memories of in the DS version. I played the DS version of this game before I played the N64 version, which I think in my mind was a regret that I had. I really wish, you know, if it was up to me, I really would have played the just the original N64 version that we're playing right now first, because I have really fond memories of like watching the N64 version when I only had the DS version, thinking, man, I really wanted to play as Banjo. However, there were some upsides, I guess, to, you know, like playing the DS version first, or like playing the DS version at the time over the what is it? playing them over the N64 version, which was that they added like a couple new characters. I think they mainly had to do that because of like the whole thing that happened with like Rare being bought out by Microsoft. So I think because of that, Banjo could have no longer been in the game. So I was like, man, that sure does suck. But they added a couple interesting characters, mainly a couple of the ones that stuck out to me were Taj, you know, our fellow genie friend, who has made me do a bunch of driving tests. Feel like freaking, you know, renew my driver's license on these freaking hovercrafts for cars. That's what it feels like. But yeah, you could play as him, and you could also play as Wizpig. So they kind of took like a Mario Kart approach to it and made it so that you could play as like the villains of the game, which I'm not gonna lie, I was a Wizpig type of guy. Except Wizpig had the most slippery turning you could ever imagine out of any character. I swear, it was so. The turning was so weird with Wizpig, but I played as him, and you know, you can imagine having a Wizpig battle, you know, just a race with Wizpig while you're playing as a much smaller and just cut down version of Wizpig. To me, that was the weirdest thing, but I was like, all right, cool. If I'm not wrong, Diddy Kong Racing DS also kind of removed the whole silver coin thing. I say that because sort of. They did something really stupid. And this was the one thing I really, really just hated about Diddy Kong Racing DS. They did this weird thing where they had you be Taj. They had you play as Taj, going into the levels the second time around where the silver coins would normally be. And you would have to do this weird first-person thing where you'd have to like move your camera around with the stylus and pop balloons. And to me, it was the stupidest thing ever because, again, I felt like it was pretty bad because, again, you had to manually move the camera around with your stylus, but also if Taj made turns, like, you know, say we're coming up to this turn right here, that would mess up your camera change that you're trying to do, and it was like, bruh, I have fell into the toxic waste, but it would mess up your turn that you're trying to make, and to me, that was just the worst thing. That was just the worst thing that I don't know why you know, it wasn't like some situation where, oh, you have a banjo, yeah, there's no way we can keep this same mechanic, you know, like it's like they could have still just kept the silver coin thing. Like there was some pretty cool things that they added in Diddy Kong Racing DS. Main one I remember, oh, this is the stupid octopus guy. He looks like an absolute meanie face, but they added a thing called wish tracks, which were a thing where you could kind of create your own track in a way. It was like a track maker, which, by the way, I'm waiting for the day that it's unrealistic, but I'm waiting for the day that Mario Kart allows you to do that. Who knows? Maybe the eventual Mario Kart 9 will allow you to do that. But yeah, they let you do that, and it wasn't like you could add like props and everything. It was more or less you're creating the structure. So like if you wanted to make some like figure 8 track, yeah, you could do that, but like obviously the textures you'd be on were the same every time. And you could race off against TT on it, try and get yourself a time trial on your own track, which I thought was really cool. You know, I felt as if it was a pretty cool feature. You know, it was nothing special, it was nothing really up there, but I felt like, especially for the time being a DS game, it was something cool, and I guess, you know, it was a nice little touch, nice little addition for anyone who had, you know, I guess previously played Diddy Kong Racing. I felt like it was something new, something fresh they could really enjoy. So enough rambling about Diddy Kong Racing DS. This boss, right? We're 3 laps in, and I'm talking about this boss now. So you're probably noticing he does this funny thing where he drops the water landmines, and boy, oh boy, is it like 10 times worse, because similar to the Walrus, I think he's faster. He's faster in the second rendition, and instead of the mines, he spawns the bubbles, meaning that if you get hit by one of them, Dude, you're stuck there for like 3 seconds, which you would think 3. Shut up, recording, Jordan. The video's over.